what's up everyone? I'm the Burning Baron, but you can just call me the Baron. And we are here for the final time with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's DLC. As the trailer for Wave 6 has just dropped today. So, as always, I'm here with yet another scriptless impression video for my thoughts on the wave. And once again, as always, incredibly excited because this wave is looking phenomenal. Wow, I think I've said that like maybe 5 times now. Alright, but enough of the intro. You all know how this works. Let's just dive right in. So, with Wave 6, we now have confirmation of the last 8 tracks bringing the entire DLC to an end. We have the Acorn Cup containing Tour Rome Avanti, GCN DK Mountain, Wii Daisy Circuit, and Tour Piranha Plant Cove, plus the Spiny Cup, which includes Tour Madrid Drive, 3DS Rosalina's Ice World, SNES Bowser Castle 3, and Wii Rainbow Road. Starting everything off, we have Tour Rome Avanti. So, as the second to last tour track, at least the city track introduced into the game, this Tour Rome Avanti is still relatively new, much like Squeaky Clean Sprint before it, really. No, not Squeaky Clean Sprint, Athens Dash before it. So, okay, it's hard for me to say much about the city tracks because I'm not going to go into too much on how the routes are going to play out. I think if I want to keep it very simple for the route, I think they could easily just do, once again, 2 laps devoted to the routes that go in the one direction, because there usually are 2 laps that follow the same direction. And then the other lap could just use the reverse version of whichever route went in the opposite direction. And I think Rome Avanti is one of those tracks. Routes 1 and 3 can go in one direction, and then Route 2 can just be a reverse lap. I don't know. But we're sitting here with Rome. Rome looks pretty damn good. I can count a few places where you just see the tour bits. Like, the buildings just look as tour standard as they possibly can, which probably surprises no one. But otherwise, like, I think Rome, like the road details and the lighting, it's once again just proving that, like, it feels like they're going out with a bang in Wave 6, because the visuals once again feel like a massive step up, while still containing a lot of those typical tour bits. Trust me, we'll get to that. But Rome Avanti, I really don't have too much to say about the city tracks right now, because, like, I think at this point we all knew what was coming for the cities. Like, Rome and Madrid were the only ones left over. So I think those 2 were 2 things we all knew were coming. And why I say, there's a reason why I'm splitting off the city tracks from the other tour tracks, and I think everyone knows why, but we'll cover that later. As for right now, Rome Avanti looks really good. I like the lighting on the road. I just don't really know what else I can say. The buildings look tour based, but the road and the water and the fountain look really nice. So I'm anticipating that this will be a really fun track to play on. There are some other details that look definitely a lot better than like some of the statues. I'm looking at the screenshot with the I think it was the split roads with the fuzzies hanging overhead. There are 2 fountains in that section, or there's 2 statues that look really nice. But the buildings in the background definitely have that almost like clay mobile tour look, so I think I don't really think I have too much to say. The Coliseum looks really nice. The Iron Bridge with the chain chomps looks really nice. The Coliseum itself actually looks a lot better than most of the other structures in the area. So I think Rome will be a pretty solid track. The nighttime vibe is also really nice. So I think I'll just leave it at that. There's not too much I got to say about Rome. Moving on to GCN DK Mountain, on the other hand, this is the one where I have a little bit more to say, and honestly, it's impressive. So this definitely settles the ongoing battle that a lot of people have had: GCN DK Mountain versus Dino Jungle. Well, looks like we've got our answer. we're getting DK Mountain in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe over Dino Dino Jungle, which really does stomp the Wave 1 theory that Coconut Mall brought along. And definitely it was definitely a thing where they just took it straight from Tour, and that had nothing to do with how the Booster Course Pass would be affected. DK Mountain looks pretty impressive, all things considered. I think the biggest standout has to be the mountain itself. The angry face on the mountain, aside from retaining the details added to Tour, now has this flaming volcanic effect in the eyes and mouth, which looks menacingly amazing. I love it. But onto the mountain itself. Does anybody remember the many times I've complained about how Tour's rock designs really look bad in Mario Kart 8? Well, like, man, they did improve that in this one. The rock design looks so much better. Like, maybe it's because it's a roadway, so they just kind of merged it all into one, but damn, the texture on the rocks looks far better. Like, Riverside Park better. Like, really good. Obviously, I think our biggest problem will be the trees, but that's just a standard at this point. I am looking at a screenshot, and the leaves look distracting, the fruits look distracting, but the tree trunk itself doesn't look too bad. I think it'll probably be we'll probably get a better look at that when we're actually in the game itself. Yeah, I'm looking at the background kind of has that toury look to it, but otherwise, like, DK Mountain looks pretty solid. They put the letters back on the cannon. They took away the rope bridges borders or railings, I guess. So once again, have fun with that bullet bill that knocks you right off the bridge. Am I right? Yeah, honestly, they kept all the half pipes. I think DK Mountain's looking pretty solid, all things considered. So yeah, grass looks nice. All the details look nice. I'm pretty sure a lot of this might change when I actually play the map, but who knows? For now, first impression, track looks pretty solid. Moving on to Wii Daisy Circuit, which we won't spend too much time on because that's already been revealed, and that was the first thing we knew from Wave 6. Honestly, there really actually is nothing for me to say. Like, honestly, out of all the tracks, Daisy Circuit seems to have changed the least, barring the fact that we now have a gliding ramp on the shortcut in the buildings, which I thought they should have done in the first place, but hey, better late than never. I won't spend too much time here. The entire track still looks phenomenal. I love the new fountains. The fountain designs look really nice, having that bronze-ish look to it. I don't even know if that's a proper word. But otherwise, like most Tour City tracks, the buildings kind of stand out as meh. But the sunset vibe, and I'm pretty sure the water will look really amazing. But other than that, Daisy Circuit, not much to say. We've already seen it. So we've already seen a lot of it, considering that was the first thing revealed. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Might make this a much shorter video. But let's move on to Piranha Plant Cove. Uniquely, the only Tour track to... let me just recollect my thoughts. The only Tour track, non-city Tour track, to have multiple routes. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, especially considering that the second route entirely had a completely different starting line. Not sure if they'll do what they did with Athens Dash and make an entirely new starting line for a different lap. Who knows? I'm not gonna make any sort of predictions on that. I'm here to talk more about the visuals, and oh my goodness, this is enough. I think we all know that, like, the water in this game looks pretty damn phenomenal, and this track is really no exception. I feel like the water almost, like, complements the potential interesting visual choices with some of the other details. But even when I'm looking at this nice underwater screenshot of the stairway up to the first temple-y area, like, it's like directly beyond Route 1's finish line. It looks pretty damn good. The Like, the water details look amazing. Like, even the stone details look a lot better. Like, it's just proving that it seems like they really got it together with Wave 6 and they were really going all out. Kind of makes me wish that they could go back and touch up Wave 1 a little bit, because out of all the waves, Wave 1 really needs it. If anything, it's now making Wave 1 stand out a little too much, because every single other wave did something to improve upon itself. Maybe barring Rock Mountain, honestly. But Piranha Plant Cove is, once again, looking pretty nice. Let's see the other spot. I'm looking at screenshots off of Super Mario Wiki right now. Yeah, I guess once again, I don't think, I've already said it, the trees are the only problem. Like, even the rocks, once again, solid improvement. I'm willing to bet that maybe some of the wooden staircases and boardwalks might also stand a little bit. But again, roadways, and by rock standards especially, like, it's pretty nice. I'm very excited because Piranha Plant Cove is one of my favorite non-city tour tracks, honestly. It's up there with, like, Yoshi's Island and, like, even Squeaky Clean Sprint. That one's kind of grown on me, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, like, I'm just, Piranha Plant Cove looks really nice. It doesn't seem to do too much different, but we didn't get a lot of footage of the other tracks outside of that one that they really wanted to highlight. So I guess we'll just move on to Madrid Drive, which, same deal as Rome. It's hard for me to say much. They don't show too terribly much. The soccer field looks pretty damn nice. The grass in the field looks great. The lighting from the stadium's lights and the overhead look pretty good. They kept the Goomba shoes, which is really cool, but as far as I'm concerned, in this version, the soccer balls might actually, I think the soccer balls actually wipe you out. So they're more of an obstacle now than they were in Tour, but Tour also forgoes most of its obstacles in favor of them being worth points instead of actively hindering you. So it makes some of these tour tracks a little bit more challenging in that sense. I do hope that they keep the stadium version of the music though, which, given how Koopa Cape's variations were kept intact and Rainbow Road's, I think we'll be fine. The art museum looks pretty interesting. It doesn't look like it stands out too much. It's an inside of a building, so more time with those tour textures, but it's gonna be cool because all the paintings on the inside were a lot of fun, especially the piranha plant poking its head out of the one. Other than that, like, it's the same deal. Road textures seem to look a lot better versus the building textures. So I'm interested to see how this one will play. There's a giant wiggler sleeping inside of the giant plaza, so wonder how that guy will function into everything. But yeah, beyond that, not too much to say about Madrid Drive. I've covered most of it. It seems like it's not going to be that much different. I'm wondering how that interior of the station area will look. We didn't get to see it, and I don't think we saw any of that in any of the screenshots or gameplay. But yeah, same as Rome Avanti. Buildings look mag, road looks fine, stadium looks pretty damn good, so I'll settle for that for now. Alright, and we move on to Wave 6 Bombshell. Like, yeah, so I think we should probably finally get to the elephant in the room, and that is the status of the last tour track, which isn't here. They cut a tour track. And personally speaking, no matter what other people might say, I am genuinely shocked, because last time I checked, this entire DLC was supposed to be a tour archive. That was the entire point. Every single track in this DLC, whether it was in the DLC first or in tour first, they were all in tour at some point. And they cut Pipeline. Piranha Plant Pipeline is not in the DLC at all. Now, okay, let me get this out of the way. I know a lot of people are saying that Pipeline was probably cut because there's no reason to have two Piranha Plant themed tracks in the same wave, which, from a standpoint, does make sense. It does feel a little overwhelming and unnecessary. But keep in mind that DK Summit and DK Mountain are in the same game, and those are both DK-themed mountains. I literally got confused with Moonview Highway. I almost mistook it for New York Minute. I'm not saying anybody's wrong for thinking either or, but I think the main point, disregarding the theming, is that what's the point of having a Tour Archive DLC if you're gonna leave one out? Even more so that you left one out. Like, this kind of feels on par with how Smash 3DS had two stages missing from Ultimate. What was the point? Like, why not just bring everything back? So, what did we replace Piranha Plant Pipeline with? Rosalina's Ice World. Which, I'm still on the fence of how I feel about. On one hand, I just unintentionally called another track from my original prediction, which is pretty cool. On the other hand, I would have really still preferred Wario Shipyard. Well, we got Rosalina's Ice World, and I honestly think this is better than the other two 3DS tracks that we've gotten. Like, beforehand, 3DS's Rainbow Road was carrying the entire DLC 3DS selection. I'm gonna confidently say at the very least Rosalina's Ice World can stand on its own two legs without having to carry the other two tracks with it. I'm going to be 100% honest. We all know from when I did my Booster Course Pass ranking for the first three waves that I'm not terribly huge on 3DS's Toad Circuit or Rock Mountain. For many, many reasons. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Rosalina's Ice World, which it's a bit of a mix between how it looks. Like, once again, it seems like a lot of the background details are going to take on after Tour, while most of the road details are going to take on after 8 Deluxe. The ice in the big watery section looks like it was taken directly from Snowland, which is a compliment, by the way, because nice cracks in the ice look really cool. And I will admit that the icy walls, from the view I have, don't look terrible. They've got the 3DS Rainbow Road space background. They got the Gateway Galaxy planet in the background, so the background looks really nice. I don't think I really have many complaints about this track. I'm okay with it. It's honestly, again, much like Moonview Highway beforehand, this is definitely the biggest surprise this wave had to offer, which is nice considering this was a wave that a lot of us thought we had all figured out. I know I posted my predictions for the wave, and they lined up with a lot of other people's predictions, so I think a lot of us were on the same boat here. And they decided to throw another curveball at us, so congrats! My jaw's broken for like the, third time now? Nintendo ain't paying for my hospital bill, that's for certain. But I don't think I really need them to. I will just heal myself while playing this amazing DLC. Yeah, the lighting in the cave looks nice. I'm looking at a screenshot of the cave, and the star shroom that's crashed into the snow looks really nice in that light. There's even a toad sitting on it, which is cute. Yeah, the spatial background looks amazing, and I definitely think that fits way more than it did beforehand. Let me see if I can... There's the Comet Observatory bit. Looks pretty nice. The beacon's lit up. The texture on the roofing itself looks really nice. The multiple planets in the background. I think Rosalina's Ice World will be an okay welcome, especially considering it was also a Special Cup course, so I'll take it. We'll take it. Now let's get on to what I'm gonna say is probably my two favorite tracks of the wave. This was the one I was hoping for, and damn am I glad that we got this. SNES Bowser Castle 3. Much like when it was revealed for Tour, I don't think I've ever been this excited for a SNES track, and that is because they went above and beyond for this one. The most amazing, the most stylish looking Bowser Castle or SNES map ever. Like, Donut Plains 3 can't compare to this, which is hilarious because this is Tour DLC. This was anticipated to look like a plastic model, but no, we have got a real track here, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful. I'm looking at the screenshot. You can see the giant, arcing lava fall section just looks phenomenal. The textures look like they actually had effort put into them. The stone walls, the admittedly, they did keep the cartoony backdrop, which, now that I'm looking at it, is quite odd of a choice, given that all the other tracks went for a more realistic skybox. And this was especially a concern for Sunset Wilds, which, as a result of its realistic skybox, lost its sunset gimmick. So it's kind of strange that the clouds in this screenshot look a little cartoony. So I wonder, maybe they'll fix Sunset Wilds? I'm not holding my hopes up for that, but I really gotta say that the visual touch-ups on this track are great. The lava, beautiful. Like, I know that they tend to reuse details from Mario Kart 8 where they find necessary, and water and, like, the liquids seem to be that big area. The lava makes this track pop out spectacularly, and I believe that because of that detail, it's what makes some of the other details so much better. Like, the brick walls actually look so much better when compared to how they looked in Tour and compared to most other tracks with similar textures. As I gotta mention, they added the anti-gravity. We all saw this coming. The changes that were made to Bowser Castle 3, I'm pretty sure were what solidified everyone's thoughts that this was going to be the last SNES track. Ever since we saw this, ever since we saw this track revealed in the Bowser Tour, I don't even remember if that was before or after Wave 4. But I think whenever that was, that's what solidified it. We all thought this was going to be a Wave 5 track, but no. They saved it for Wave 6, and they put it exactly where I thought they were going to put it. Right in front of our next track, Wii Rainbow Road. I'd argue the only other track that we all saw coming. And this was much like 3DS Rainbow Road and Wave 3, this was the one they definitely wanted to put the most emphasis on. And I gotta say, it's beautiful. I would not say it's nearly as beautiful as 3DS Rainbow Road, however. I still think that the rainbow design on that one is so much better. This looks like a really fair balance between how they handled the new Rainbow Roads, like N64 and Wii U's Rainbow Road, versus how they handled Rainbow Roads in the past. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a thick man-made machine emulating a rainbow-colored road. It is a pure Rainbow Road, but it's got that tiled texture, like kind of like how Wii U's Rainbow Road's road looked. Which, I'm going to be personally honest, I think is a much more fair in-between. I think I've said this before. If I haven't, I'm saying it now. I was not huge on Wii U's Rainbow Road and the N64 Rainbow Road redesigns. I felt like with the way the roads were, it took away from the magical feel of driving on a rainbow to make it feel a lot more man-made, and it just doesn't capture that mystical, enchanting feel that past Rainbow Roads had. Like Wii's Rainbow Road, DS, GCN, GBA, everything from SNES's original to 3DS. It looked a lot better than Wii U, and it's kind of the reason why Wii U's Rainbow Road is probably contending to be my least favorite Rainbow Road of all. But I think this is a very fair in-between. Fittingly enough, the entire track is in anti-gravity, which makes a lot of sense considering the very beginning of the track is an immediate downhill. So that keeps you on track, pun intended. So, again, much like 3DS Rainbow Road, this one looks amazing. They got the space detail, like the space backdrop. You got the planet below, just like in the original. All the asteroids and the star bits flying around. They kept all the Tour details, which is honestly great because Tour did this track very nicely. The ramps in the rings are back, and it almost feels like the loops or the circular holes in the the lower section are a little bit smaller this time around. Could be just me. One thing I think we're all wondering, and I think we can be a little confident on, is that I don't think this is going to be a 2-section track as it was in Tour. I think the only reason why it was sectioned off in Tour was because of its length for Tour standards. But we are back in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where long tracks are nothing new. Maple Treeway is probably longer than this, or arguably just as long. So I don't think we have much to worry, but I'm pretty confident that if it's not 3 laps, it's got to be at least some kind of laps. I don't think they're going to section it off, because that would be way too short for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe standards. It was one thing for 3DS Rainbow Road that was built to be a 3-section track. There was nothing they could do to work a way around that, so I don't think Wii's Rainbow Road is going to change that much. I'm very, very impressed with how this track looks. I'm very excited for it. This was the one thing I think we were all pretty confident with. So it's really good to see it back again, and I can't wait to play it. And yeah, I think that's going to cover it for all the tracks for now. But there is still one more thing I want to cover, and that was a few other surprises that the DLC didn't mention in the trailer. First and foremost was kind of a mix of what I was originally hoping for versus something I wasn't expecting, and that is Mii racing suits. So yeah, ever since the Mii Tour, Mii racing suits have been added to Tour, like a few per tour, ever since their debut, and there are a lot of racing suits in Tour. And it's kind of nice to know that they're bringing 17 of them over to 8 Deluxe. It's not exactly what I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping they would prioritize the character alternates first and some kart parts. But I guess that's, like, again, it's nothing's for sure until the wave is out itself. But I am thinking that if we were getting alternates for characters and new kart parts, they would have definitely showed that off first. But yeah, we're getting a lot of new racing suits. So one of them being the Daisy Mii racing suit is locked behind an amiibo, which kind of sucks for anybody who doesn't have a Daisy amiibo, but there are 2 different ones. No, you know what? Even though there are 2, I really can't comfortably support the idea of locking something behind the paywall of an amiibo, so I do feel bad for anybody who doesn't have a Daisy amiibo and actually wants the Mii racing suit, but I don't know how many people that would be. Otherwise, we do have several other confirmed ones. There are at least 12 confirmed, including the Daisy one I mentioned, there being the Toadette Mii racing suit, Chain Chomp, Dolphin, Dry Bowser, Cheep Cheep, Pokey, Parabitty Buddy, Birdo, Petey Piranha, Question Mark Block, and Castle Mii racing suits. There are still at least 5 more that haven't been confirmed. I'm willing to bet that the Koopaling racing suits are definitely not going to be choking up 7 slots on this, which I think might make a lot of people happy. I personally would have loved them, but I also, if we were going to have a limited amount anyway, I'd rather see them excluded in favor of some other more unique ones. And plus, there are like 5 that we don't know about, so if they only put in a few Koopalings, it's like, congrats for just replaying the whole Piranha Plant pipeline mistake again. I think if I wanted to pick a few racing suits that I think would be the most ideal to put in, I think the Waluigi Mii racing suit is a pretty up there go-to. I think they should definitely prioritize the suits that are based off of Mario elements. So stuff like the Ice Cream Mii racing suit could, like, honestly feasibly be left out. The Reindeer and the Santa could be left out. But I think if I were to pick a few, the King Boo one would be, I think, the most ideal. I think it would be... Okay, maybe going back a little bit on what I said, I wouldn't mind if I saw the gold, silver, and bronze ones come back. Those would be nice. But I think the Waluigi one would be a huge yes, even though that one could... I think that one's got less of a chance of being locked behind an amiibo, simply because Waluigi only has one. But either way, and I think the Waluigi one would fit. King Boo would definitely fit because he's playable. Maybe even the Dry Bones. Like, maybe go with the ones that are based off of playable characters. So we know that the Birdo one's coming in. Birdo's in. We know the Petey Piranha one's coming in, and he's playable. King Boo's playable. Waluigi's playable. Dry Bowser we know is coming. Dry Bones is playable. So I think, barring the Koopalings, it would be nice to see the ones that are based off of actual playable characters come back first. I can't even see all of the Mii racing suits. I'm actually going to have to get up my actual app to look at this, because I want to see which ones I'm missing. While I get that up, let me go beyond and just talk about the fact that they are also adding a background music player, which is a first for the Mario Kart series, really, but at this point, very well welcome, because the music in Tour, or in 8 Deluxe, is just amazing. And while I'm inevitably just gonna get it all on my iTunes anyway. It's still nice of an option to have. Let's see. Oh, Wiggler is another one they could add. Wiggler is playable. They could... there aren't really many others that are based off of full-on playable characters that they could add that there aren't already in. Like Mario, Peach, Toad, Luigi, Rosalina, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Bowser. Those are already in the game, same with Wario. So, like, they could add, again, Waluigi would be easy, Dry Bones would be easy, Wiggler would be easy, and I guess they could do a few other throwaway easy ones, like, I don't know, maybe the Blooper Mii Racing Suit, because that's an item. Even the Spike Mii Racing Suit, just to get some color diversion in there, who knows, because that's like a green one. They could add anything, and there's still 5 left, so we don't know which ones. I think if I want to go over anything else to finish this off, let me just quickly touch on the characters. We got a full look at all of them once again. Funky and Diddy Kong. The Kongs are back, and they brought their mountain with them, so it's good to see those two back. Diddy Kong was one of my picks, and we all know, I think I mentioned this already back when I kind of touched on the initial reveal, which was 100% overshadowed by Thousand Year Doors remake. We all know that, like, everything just got overshadowed by that. Even this video is now kind of getting overshadowed by that. But let's not go any further. The Kongs are cool ads. Diddy Kong was one of my picks, and I know all of those Mario Kart Wii Funky Kong fans are going to be happy. I don't mean to rain on your parade, fellas, but bet that Funky Kong's not going to be the meta OP piece of crap that he was in Wii, so you're stuck with a normal character. Hope you like Funky Kong for Funky Kong. Moving on to the ladies that were added, Toadette and Pauline are, I'm going to say, nice ads. I honestly didn't really have much of an opinion on Peachette, but seeing more of her little cheerful demeanor, we know it's Toadette in a much bigger body looking like Peach, which I was actually mentioning to my friend feels really weird at this point, but I'm gonna forego all of that detail and just say that I'm not against Peachette. I'm not against her anymore. If anything, I actually have a better reason to enjoy her because she's now in a game where I can care about using her. I never cared to use her in Tour because her special items sucked. Like, the Mushroom Cannon sucked. I'm sorry if anybody enjoyed that, but I feel like that's the best part about 8 Deluxe, and that even if I can extend this to the Mii Racing Suits as well, we can play as these things without feeling hindered by them. The Cheap Mii Racing Suit is another good example, because I would never use that thing because it's got the bubble special item. Explain to me why I'm gonna waste a slot on that. So, having Peachette in a game where she will actually be playable in a much more open game feels great. And don't even get me started on how great Pauline is even without her special item. I'm excited for those two. We got to see their biker outfits. Pauline's being a nice spin, inverting the color scheme that the other three had, and going for a red biker suit with white details. Totally on board with that. I love it. Can't wait to see Pauline in action. I will definitely be playing as her when I do my inevitable overall playthrough of the wave. And Peachette looks kind of cute, but I have to see it in full because we didn't really get a huge look at it. So, yeah, I think that'll cover it for just about all the content that we saw. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Now that Wave 6 is releasing, you can bet that I've got a lot more Tour or Mario Kart content to come. I've got the last part of my ranking system where I'm going to go through waves 5 through 6. I'm going to try to simplify that a little bit so I can maybe make it a little bit shorter rather than being a point-based. I'm not going to like score all the visuals and the gameplay and the music anymore. I'm just going to go for my flat opinion. I want to do a video where I compare my personal wish list for the DLC, the one that I made all the way back when Wave 1 was revealed. I'm going to compare my ideas to what was announced and revealed and released. And I definitely want to get a brand new video where I go through the entire Booster Course Pass and I change things and I do what I would have done differently. So, yeah, I don't know when all of that will come out. Obviously, I'm going to have to wait till next week so I can get footage for all of it. But for now, those are 3 things that I definitely want to do. I think another thing you could bet on is definitely bet that I will be playing the entire DLC across one potential video or multiple videos. I have a plan for that. But I will leave it at that. I won't say anymore. Just expect at some point where I will be playing, actually not the DLC, actually the entire game. All 96 tracks. I will just leave you with that. And I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more Mario Kart Tour or Mario Kart content down the line. And please, by all means, I would love to hear your thoughts on this wave as well. So I encourage you to leave comments. I believe if you leave comments, that might help me creep my way into the algorithm, which could easily help me get towards my goal of making YouTube my actual career. So I'm counting on you guys for that. Obviously, it's up to you, but I would very much appreciate it if you guys could support this channel in any way you can. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one.